because if I do that, it's going to be too much for me.
That's fine. I could read the comments.
You do
Not
that
a
because
problem. I do get slightly distracted, especially with ADD. I sometimes I lose my actually a lot of the time I lose my train of thoughts from reading the comments. So yeah.
because I can barely speak. I can barely get words out. So I've had to do that as well. It's like
Oh,
I'm,
that's all good.
I always say I'm not a word person, and that's a good thing with the work that I do. It's
Hello,
all about
Stephanie. Grand Rising. Rise and shine. Rise and shine, Michelle.
people are dropping in.
They are indeed. Hi, Leanne. Hope you guys slept well last night.
Unlike me.
Yeah, the energies have been intense the last few days too. That doesn't help. Mercury retro. Ooh, what's that?
Can you see this thing? Yeah, I don't know if you can see.
Light blue. What is that?
I found it in the ocean. Do you
You're
believe
kidding.
it? How do you find crystals in the? Yeah, and I always find stones and crystals in weird places.
Float to France all the way from Atlantis. Like where did you get that?
How weird is that? Because in Brittany, here I got like 4, and that's it. This one is smaller. Look at these things. And so
from the beach.
No, because in Brittany, it goes high tide and low tide. Like the tide goes down for many hours.
Yeah.
You can check online. I wasn't the one doing that, so I don't exactly know how many hours the tide is low. So when the tide is low, you literally are walking in the ocean, and you're walking on like millions of rocks, and every rock is like from a different period. I'm telling you, that's all I did, because I don't like going to the like tanning or anything like that. So I was just like communicating with the rocks for hours. and I found these guys. They were just in there with all these other beautiful, colorful rocks. But I was like, I saw these white, shining crystals, and they are.
Is it quartz?
Yeah, I think it's quartz. That's what
looks like quartz. Yeah, like milky quartz. That's absolutely stunning.
And they have such energy. Like I've been holding them here in my office.
Wow. How far away from your place is that? She asked curiously. I want to know.
4.5 hours.
4.5. Wow. That's amazing.
And I know the energy's special there because I've been to so many different parts of France and Brittany. I've been to different parts of Brittany for short visits, and that's my place. Like I just felt like amazing.
There's a lot of power in an ocean stone like that.
Mm-hmm. And then compared to here, you'll come here, and this is where all the castles are and all the kings live. The energy is very heavy. It's very different to Brittany on the coast. You can feel some magical energy there.
It's hard to believe I'm going to be coming over your side in 10 days.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to hang out with you in person. It's going to be great.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right on the river. We got a cool place on the river. And
I love quartz. Quartz is one of the most underappreciated crystals, I feel. Like, it's just so versatile. You can use it for so many different things. And it's a very, easy stone to kind of feel the energies of. Like moldavite, for example, is really intense. And so are some of the higher frequency ones, like Herkimer diamonds and those. But quartz is always, it's like, as Michelle says, it's the master healer.
Thank you, because I didn't know much about quartz, even though I have quartz here. Because moldavite is I love moldavite.
Works on all chakras as well. It's great for Reiki.
I have a Herkimer diamond, moldavite, and tektite because that's it's apparently the healer's combination to sort of amplify and protection.
Yep, I have one as well, but it is intense. I can feel it when I'm wearing it. I know. I can feel my energy. It's almost like you drink 3 cups of coffee for me.
Well,
my energy is, it's wearable caffeine, basically.
Love it.
But if you're somebody that already has a lot of energy, sometimes it can be a little intense.
I have a few little moldavites here.
Nice.
I have a ton of crystals in here. You'll see when you come
over. Love it. Crystals are like 2D pets, we can. You have wonderful, wonderful gifts from Gaia. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you a little bit, because you and I were talking a little earlier about your galactic history, and I thought I might see if you want to share a little bit about that, yeah, with some of the people.
Yeah, because
Cool.
it's very much obviously connected to my soul's purpose and what I'm doing here on the planet, which is like you, this life of service where nothing can stop me. I'm just go, go, go. Nothing gets in my way because it's coming from, a different space, a different time. And my soul originated in the Andromeda galaxy. And from there, I decided, because I love to learn and grow, so from there, I moved. Well, I was a soul guide in Lyra for a very, very long time. And I'm a seer, I'm a clairvoyant. So I pretty much observed first in the Andromeda galaxy, I observed, you know, systems being created, galaxies being created. That was very interesting to me. And then I was in Lyra for a long time, just observing the beings moving into a heavier density, this greater density. And that was something that I was interested in. How do you take these light bodies and move them into this density? And so I was observing that for a really long time. Then I became a soul guide to the Lyrans, and then eventually I had Lyran lifetimes. Um, so that was very interesting. And then I was there. A lot of learning happened when the controlling forces started coming in to Lyra, that polarity. And then I was very interested in the polarity, which is what I'm doing here now in my work. Um, from there, I think I had a few lifetimes in Sirius in the mystery schools, obviously, but pretty
Oh
much
yeah.
since my soul came down into more of a dense energy, I've been a guide and a teacher and a seer. Those are my gifts, and really holding the light. That's why the SRT work is, in a sense, easier for me, because my soul's purpose is holding the light, so nothing else can really get in the way of that. And very much divine neutrality, because that is the work that I teach, and I'll talk about that. The third eye work, the healing work. See, I got this out
Yeah,
because
you got your shit. I got mine. I haven't been able to put it down. It's so good.
I was gonna say this I actually found in the street. I
Did you
found it
really?
in the street, in the garbage. Somebody threw it out in Berkeley, California, when I lived there. And I was already doing this work. So for me, it was sort of like, I only read it years later because, and this is something I wanted to say, which is important, is that it's okay to read about these things and, learn about what energy looks like, but it's better for you to see it from within, because the way we see is very different. The way we experience, perceive energy is very different. And that's why I say, when they teach you the chakras are certain colors and the rainbow, yes, but you don't want to limit yourself. And that's why I find that, and that language is also limiting.
Yeah.
because when I always bring this example in, and then I'll go back to the galactic history. When I was an art student, we used to draw naked models, as a
As you do.
group. We did figure drawing, and everybody drew or painted the same model, but the skin color of every painting was different. So somebody would see more of a greeny tone, and somebody would see more of a reddish tone. It's, to me, mine was the perfect tone, because I saw her, it was a reflection of what I was seeing. But that's what I mean. It's especially if you're a clairvoyant, if you're an energy healer, it's important for you, before you read a lot about this stuff, you want to experience it for yourself, because otherwise people get disappointed. They stop because they're like, oh, I don't see it the same way, or I didn't get that. Am I doing it wrong? And teaching meditation, I always say everything you're receiving is right. It's the way that you're perceiving it. It's just that you're learning to understand the language that you're to translate the light codes, the language that you're receiving. And that's where the practice comes in. Yeah.
And it gets intense for starseeds. It really does, especially when you have a spread out history like yours. You're coming from so many different personalities and societies, civilizations. They're all different. They all have their main focuses, I guess we should say. And like with the Andromedans and the Arcturians and the Syrians, they have been instrumental in the awakening of humanity for quite some time. They're pretty much like our long lost cousins in many ways, the Pleiadians as well. And it's almost like it's like remembering all of this past history is what we're doing right now. We're not really even learning new things. We're going back and relearning and reconnecting to our old selves.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important for you to feel that click. Because when you meditate, you can feel that information hook in. It's like you feel the moment where you're like, I know this. I knew this. I've done this for centuries, for who knows, you can't put it into, there's no time. It's just like, So going back to my history, I was in Sirius for a while in all the mystery schools, and then I was a teacher and a guide, and then I decided to go into greater density. So my role has always been as a soul, guiding souls, people, the physical or the form, in that divine neutrality, staying neutral to the polarity.
Yes.
And that's where meditation comes in. And that is my gift, pretty much, that, and holding the light, just being the light. And so that
And
brings
healing, your healing is incredible. Just for the record, guys, when somebody works on you with Reiki, you do kind of feel a bit like relaxed, blissed out. But when you were working on me energetically, it felt like 1,000 little electric fingers just going over my whole etheric field. Like it was this tingling sensation that you can feel healing you on levels that I've never really experienced before.
Yeah, and I want to explain that. Thanks for saying that, but I want to
Yeah.
explain the difference because I haven't experienced Reiki, but I know that it is using universal energy.
Yes.
And and I saw some comments yesterday where people were saying yes, they studied hands-on healing, and I studied in this lifetime. It's called intuitive touch, pretty much, but it's hands-on healing, which I find is so powerful. I learned everything I know from working with bodies in person. But what you do in those healings is you're actually channeling the person's energy through your hands. So you're putting a bracelet of protection so that it doesn't go into your space. And sometimes it starts creeping in and you can feel it. You're like, oh, okay, step back, move that energy out. And so what happens then is that they're actually giving themselves a healing. They're giving themselves a healing. And all you're doing as the clairvoyant is you're reading what's happening and you're guiding the energy and you're holding the light. So, and it's so powerful. And now that I'm not doing those hands-on healings, I'm like, because the long distance work is great and it works for almost everyone. But some people, extreme cases, need the hands-on healing. And when I have clients that need it, I tell them, go find someone locally who does this hands-on healing. And it's not easy to find. I think it's getting more and more evolved now. But what you're doing then, just like you said with your healing, is what's actually happening is that I'm activating your healing abilities within you. And that's what you're actually feeling, is you're reawakening your own healing abilities. So you're activating your own light.
So when you are feeling these tingles, these sensations that are coming across your etheric field, what is actually happening? Is that like the blockages are being removed, that the energy is flowing better?
It really depends on what you're feeling. Usually when you're clearing something, you're going to feel it being removed. So we can talk about different energies. So what happens is that as human beings, we take on energy that's not ours, especially if you're not there. So the more disconnected you are, the more I'll go to the extreme. If you're disabled, entities are going to attach to you right away, and other energies. I mean, most likely entities, because you're not really going anywhere, but people who are maybe light drug users, alcoholic, whatever it is that's keeping you out of your body, or even just super distracted, what's going to happen is, because you're not owning your energy field, you're taking on more and other energies are attaching to you, with the work that you're doing. So there's that level of, okay, an actual parasite or entity has attached. But there's also um, energies that you clear that are frozen or stuck, which is something that happened to you in the past. You can call it trauma. It's not always very negatively charged. It could be mildly negatively charged. It could be
Big
someone
T,
telling
little
you,
T. Yeah, little traumas add up too.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could be someone telling you like you're ugly. Okay, there we go. Check. What happens is what you're actually stuck on is the other person's energy is in your space. It's not even, it's what you're needing to release is a lie. A lie is somebody else's energy that's not yours and is not the truth of who you are, which is unconditional love and a light being. So when you're clearing, what you're releasing, it depends what layer you're on, is negatively charged energy, very charged, negatively charged energy, static frozen energy, which if you get enough of that, that's what we call depression or feeling stuck. Um,
What about the
and
whirlwind? I've seen a couple people in a whirlwind. It's like literally they have a little tornado over their head.
and that
Where
can be,
that's when they're like they're if you've seen that movie Inside Out 2 with the anxiety and how she's frozen and everything is a big whirlwind, that's exactly what we're finding on people.
I'm actually going to watch that this weekend. My daughter asked to watch it.
It's an adorable movie. It's great. But yeah, that's exactly what happens with anxiety in the movie. She creates a whirlwind and then she's just frozen with that tornado around her.
Yeah. So there's so many different things. I mean, I could go, but mainly you're clearing ungrounded energy, other people's energy, negatively charged energy, because positively charged energy is great. And what you want to do is you want to stay neutral. So the reason in meditation, people do it in different ways. The way I do it is we run earth and cosmic energy through the body because that's the most neutral energy you can run through the body. So what happens when you run it is that you clear, as you're running it, you're clearing ungrounded energy that's not yours, blah, 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 blah. But then that's why I say healing and meditation is like peeling an onion, because every time you sit down, you're gonna release one layer, and then you might hit something really intense and want to throw up or want to die or want to can't sit in the chair, and then you're going to either back away for a while, do some more work to release that, to integrate that. And yeah,
there was one client I cleared last week that their astral body purged so hard that their physical body purged. They actually threw up during the clearing. They texted me. They're like, "Did you just clear me?" I was like, "Yeah, I was just about to send you a report." They're like, "Yeah, I feel it," because they immediately started throwing up.
Yeah.
Because that's how much they had to purge. The crazy thing is they were purging in the astral. Like literally their astral body started just regurgitating stuff. And I was like, wow, okay, I'm kind of glad I can't see it right now. The way it was,
sometimes in meditation, once you meditate from your clairvoyant space, what we do is we actually move the astral body out in front of us, and then we can see where there's bruises or cuts, and then we can sort of clear that out. But there's always an intention of what are we working on, and otherwise it can get crazy. But you could do that as well. So I think the most important thing, also looking at the comments yesterday, is and I see with a lot of people, is that they forget that the physical body needs as much attention as whatever they're doing energetically. It has to go, the physical body needs just as much attention and whatever it is that it needs to heal and grow. So you're sort of working physical, emotional, spiritual, all at once. Healing is on all of those levels. It's not just on one level. And that's really important to understand.
And it's very true that we move that trauma around in our bodies too. There was somebody that I was doing a clearing on that works in a very high stress environment. And so what they do when they try to release stress is they go for a run. They're runners. So guess where we found all the stress? In her legs and her feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
all of it moved from up here down there.
Because running, the problem with doing that is when people tell me, "Oh, I meditate while I'm drawing or while I'm walking," and I say that's a type of meditation, but you're not actually healing, because what happens when you're clearing, when you run, is you're not actually in your body when you're running. What people do when they're running is they're thinking about things, so their attention is over there. The way that you heal is having your attention in the body, and that's why You know, where does spirit sit in the body? It sits here in the center of the head, and that's what we call the third eye. So from
Yeah.
here, you have the neutrality to be able to clear all of that supercharged trauma, past life energy, blah, 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 all that stuff that's going to knock you out completely. So until you get here, you can't actually do that. And have the tools to, okay, grounding is very much about having a place for your body to release, because where's all that shit gonna go? You know, the
Exactly.
earth is, I say the earth is like a recycling system. It just recycles the energy. You let go and it gets recycled, it gets transformed in a sense, but you have to have a place for release. When people get migraines, it's because the energy doesn't have a place to go. It sort of builds up
And I
and
feel
then
like
goes.
it gets deeper too. Like it goes into your organs after a while. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to be on your shoulders. It's going to be working its way internally if you don't deal with it.
Totally. And I mean, every chakra is connected to an organ, so the organs are going to be affected according to whatever's going on. I had a session with a wonderful, wonderful 75-year-old woman yesterday for the first time, and she could not sit in a chair, you know, and she hasn't been able to sit in a chair for a long time because of the pain in her body. And when I started the session, I could see, and I told her, oh, this is where it's all stuck. Third, second, first chakra, you know. And so what happens when you have so much pain in the body is you actually stay out of the body, and you do more and more and more. So she's 75, she's working, she's teaching, she's, you know, and it's all to avoid actually coming in, because there's so much pain in the body that you can't actually see the body, because when you try to
Well, this is why people also reached out for alcohol too, because the alcohol ungrounds you and pushes you out of your body. So you're
even more.
less rooted, and that's why the pain gets less.
Yes. Yeah. And
Same
she
with
was
painkillers and all these other things. They push you out of your body, so you are less grounded. But then again, this is also why entities can get in, because you're not in there. You're not rooted, anchored into your body, and your frequency has been lowered. So you're a vibrational match to these beings because you've been taking the pills or whatever it is, the pharmaceuticals and the alcohol and all these other coping mechanisms. And that's when they get deeply rooted, because like you aren't owning that space.
Yeah, you're disconnected. You're saying,
Yep.
you know, it's the same with, if you don't ground your car enough, or you don't ground your house, your car will get broken into. So there's a reason for you to, the meditation space, the first step in the meditation space is taking care of the extensions of your body. Obviously, first you, and then everything else that is your home, your land, your car, and then maybe your parents, if you're taking care of them, if they're elderly, your kids, whatever comes in that you need to do that with. That's super important, because then you can, you know, especially as a healer, you know, if we're talking even about hands-on healing, what you do as a healer is you first take care of yourself. You can't actually hold space for anyone else until you've cleared all your charged pictures, because otherwise you'll get in there and you'll match the person on the table and you'll get kicked out yourself, and then it's going to be a shit show for everyone. So the first step is always re-owning this, and that can take, you know, however long it takes for you, depending on how long you've been overriding the pain in the body for.
Yeah, this is
And this,
something I'm working on too. Yeah. Because we end up brushing these things off until it's like it's like the check engine light. When it comes on, you're like, oh, what's that? I'll get to that. I'll check it out later. I'll get to it when I have time. And then it starts flashing. And you're like, wait a minute. This is something, maybe it's more serious. I got to look into this. And then the next thing you know, your car starts making funny noises, and you're like, okay, now it's serious. Now I really have to look into it. It's like we do that all the time with our physical bodies. I mean, yeah, we ignore it.
yeah, and people don't get it. I say that's the first step, is your body. Because if your body's happy, healthy, comfortable, you the spirit, you're going to be there. You know, you need your body. You can't do anything here without your body. So first step is body. And just like I was telling this wonderful woman I spoke to yesterday, because she said, I've been on the spiritual path for years. I have all these tools, but I can't use them, you know. And I explained to her why she wasn't able to. And I said, the first thing for you to do is just to sit on a chair for 5 minutes a day. That's it. Sit on the chair. because
Well,
it's
I don't
all
know.
about
Somebody with ADD, I don't know. Without my phone for 5 whole minutes? Like, what?
yes, and that's why you need a guide, because like for her specifically, she has a lot of shadow energy. We were talking about it, and for that, shadow energy is always something that you need help, a guide for.
Yeah.
Because just for the go moving through it, because it's sort of like walking into a dark cave, and you know, you have a flashlight, but you really don't want to go because it's super scary, because you've been overriding that for some years, and now you've grown monsters in there, and you're like, ah. So you need somebody to hold your hand to move through that, and then once you're through, then you can actually come back to the body, settle into the body, and go deeper. And so once you've done the initial very charged energy, then it's easier to check that engine light, because you're doing it all the time. You're here, you're sitting in the body, you're resting in the body, and so it's easier because you're listening to the body. You're not out there, or you know, the body's not screaming at you, or you're not telling the body what it needs to do. You're actually working together, and you have to, because this is your avatar. Without your container, you actually can't do anything. So yeah.
I really feel like this is going to be a new awakening period for healing, because obviously the old ways aren't working like they used to be. The whole just pop a pill and, make sure that you keep up with those pills once a day, like that's not enough when it comes to healing. And this is something that we're starting to recognize. Even the normies are starting to recognize that our body needs more.
Yes.
So for somebody that is still kind of asleep, still kind of dealing with chronic issues, but they haven't done the shadow work portion, the understanding of why they have the issues, what would you say is the first step in going down that healing journey?
First, it's the commitment to that journey, the commitment to the body, asking for help, saying I can't do this on my own. That is the first step, because you have all these energies pulling at you. So it's sort of the cycle. And then, like this woman I spoke, she was frustrated with herself. And the first thing I said to her is, it's okay. The reason you're not getting there is because there's so much energy in your space, you can't get to your body at all. So the first step is asking for help. If you're not able to ask for help, then you're going to stay in that cycle for a while. And I know a lot of men.
Oh, this the denial is a big one.
I
got to get over the denial stage that you don't even need healing. Oh, I'm fine.
And I feel like
I feel like crap for months, but I'm fine.
Yeah, when you're ready, you're there, and that's it. I mean, I work with so many people, taking them from 3D to 5D, and I've been doing this for so many years that I can tell right away. I have the tact thing down, where okay, how much they can handle, what do I need to say, how do I. And when you're reading from a psychic space, it's easier to do that, because you're really just looking at energy and you're proving to them that this is real, because you're telling them things that they're like, how do you know this? How can she see this? So you're already getting through to them, because they're open to receiving that information. And then you're validating it. So by the end of it, they're like, whoa, why does this feel so good? Well, you just reconnected to yourself. So I think that's really important. And I think that's why the more people doing this work is so important. And that's what's happening. More and more people are doing this work. When I have clients or students that are inclined this way, I'm always like pushing them. Do it, start. And then they start doing readings or healings. I'm like, yes, go. Because we need more guides and teachers. And
we definitely do. And that's why I'm so glad that you joined SRT. Tzipora is in training with the Academy right now, so we can work together to do clearings.
Yes, I'm so excited to see where it goes for me, because I just knew that it was,
well, you've been a healer for a long time, but it's always good to, you're not doing it alone anymore.
That's it. Just that community, just that excitement, just have other people, even just this. I always say, thank you for you for creating this, because I feel like, wow, finally people understand what I'm saying. And they actually care, and they want to know what's going on, in this realm. And it's like, this is why you love this work, because you're watching miracles happen every day, and so do I.
It's not
And
work to me at all. They're like, "Do you
so
want to do any work today?" I'm like, "Yes." I mean, I had 5 days off, and my mom's like, "You're not gonna work." I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna work." She goes, "Well, why are you gonna go clearings?" I'm like, "Because that's not work, mama. This is fun.
that's
This is
it's so
pleasure for me."
exactly, exactly. My
You know what
family,
they
they
say, if you do what you love, you never have to work a day in your life. So apparently I'm already retired. I'm just doing what I love now.
exactly, and it's so important. And I think I'm excited to bring in my divine neutrality into into the work that you're doing, because I've always had to deal with these darker energies, but I don't entertain them at all. So it's actually, a part of me is interested to be, oh, what are you? Where'd you come from? I Not too much, but
All
but
starseeds, this is we get hung up on the location a lot, like when we hear that we're a starseed, we're like, ooh, from where? But really, some of us are from the higher realms. We might even be from like 12D. Like, who knows? We don't have to be from another place to be highly advanced as a spirit.
Mhm. And I mean, this
So,
has happened so many times. We're just,
yeah.
we're experiencing it in greater density right now.
What a
So,
time to be alive. We are so blessed. Everybody wants to know your website.
oh,
There's a bunch of people asking.
I'm
What's
so not in that realm. It's just my name, tzipora That's
yeah,
it. So if you ever want to reach out, just send me an email. I'm always available on that level. I don't have a lot of social media stuff out, just because I don't have extra energy for it. I don't have. I'm like
it's a
you. I'm
lot.
busy helping people every day, and that's my priority. When I get these emails for emergencies and this and that, and people I've worked with for 20 years, they're like family. Everyone is like family. So for me, that is the most important thing to be doing. So, but you can
Yes.
always find me that way. And I teach the clairvoyant meditation every 6 months, about. Maybe with the SRT, I won't have time for that. So I am going to do a session
Your
starting in
meditations are incredible. They really are.
end of September. I'm going to be doing another group, and then we'll see if I do it again for a while, because I'm going to be focusing on SRT for a while, just to work with other mediums and amazing people like you. See what that's like for me.
Yeah. I
Because
feel
I've
like
done.
there's going we're like kind of, I mean, this is a lot. For example, this book is 20 years old, 25 years old. And yet it's being rediscovered by people like myself who are like, oh my God, where has this been all my life? Like I needed this. You know what I mean? Like,
And it takes
so
rebels like you. It takes rebels like you and me. Because even when I trained in psychic school, what I call it, I was a rebel, because I wanted to teach others, and I wanted to go out and do me, and they wanted to stay in that bubble. And I think that's why it's taken such a long time to expand, because it's like, just do you. And that's, before I came in today for this, I looked at the group energy for this group that's here with us live, and maybe the people who listen to it. And it was very much about fifth chakra. It was very much about finding your voice, choosing your path, creating your path as a being, and understanding that we need you, because there's no competition. Everyone is completely unique. Whatever you have to offer, where people get stuck is they try to be something that they think people need or want, or what do my clients need, or what do people need. And it's like, no, that you're losing focus that way. Just
yeah.
focus on, who am I? Because that is, that's what the world needs. It needs your
Oh
vibration.
my. Somebody called me a bit of a cowboy the other day, and I actually took that as a compliment. I was like, yeah, you're right. I am. A little
Yeah,
bit
you're
of a rebel mixed in there, but that's how I'm doing my own thing, my own way, and I kind of feel like it's exciting. This work is fun, and you got to enjoy life. You got to be passionate about the things that you're doing. And what better way to do that by just diving in as deep as you can.
yeah, I can't have it any other way. I've always been this way. So yes. And part of finding your neutrality is that you're rising above the drama and the 3D stuff. And so it's easier for you not to get caught up in
Yeah.
everything. And that's what I help my clients with is the okay, let's rise above the story because people get so stuck in the stories. And it's like when you look at energy, it's so easy for you to I don't care about the story. I don't care. I'm just looking at the energy. And
I
so
say this
that's
to
so
my guides when I'm doing clearings. I'm like, where's the juicy details? Like, this is what they really want. Like, give me something. Like, give me some of the story here. Because that's what
yeah.
people are really after. Like, and the clearings were like, okay, I had this, I had that. But then when you get to the part where they're like, here's a little blurb about your past life thing, or here's a little blurb about something from your history, and they're like, yeah, that was the tidbit they were really after.
But that's why that feeling you were talking about is the freedom from that. It's
Yeah.
it's the code, it's the vibration, it's the energy. No need for words. You know, the reason I'm so good at what I do is because I say I don't even have a language that I speak. I speak 4 languages a day, every day, and I don't know any of them well. And I use my hands a lot when I talk because I feel like I don't have enough language, you know. I when I watch Daniela, who I love, I'm like, how does she speak that way? She's so eloquent, and her just this. I love listening to her talk, and even you know how to use your words. But with energy work, you don't need words, and so when I'm trying to explain what I'm looking at or what I'm reading, is like blah, 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 blah. I'm like, do you get what I'm saying? They're like, yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for that compliment, by the way, because I've always been a far better writer than a speaker. And so ever since I started this podcast, it's always been a challenge for me. I even have a little bit of a nervous stutter that comes through sometimes, and I trip over my own words. Like speaking is not where it's at for me. It's thinking and typing and sometimes too, I think telepathy. You know, it's funny when you come from a race that's highly telepathic, such as the Pleiadians and the Arcturians and Andromedans, Syrians, you trip over your words a lot. It's like you're trying to say 5 things at once, and then all 5 of it come out in a jumble, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I would say I'm not a
talking
word
slow.
person. I'm an energy person. It's just not my thing. Yeah. So yes, I look up to you because I feel like you use your words way better than me. But
Oh, thank you so much for that. Really, we're all learning as we go, really. You know?
mhm. Yeah.
Jordan says, I'm verbally dyslexic. Same here, Jordan. Yes, that is exactly it. I'm always switching my words around.
So I don't even go there. Even writing, I've been told, you know, when I was in school, yeah, you're a good writer, but I don't even go there because it's too much energy for me. I just need to move energy, create energy. You know, it's all about the getting in there and feeling. That's why I love meditation so much because you're just stepping into your inner world and
I
figuring
think
out.
words are getting less important every day because
Mhm.
the feeling, the intention, the vibration that you carry. For example, like you can tell when somebody's bullshitting you now. You don't even have to know what they're talking about. You can just sense the vibration of bullshit.
Yeah,
And you can
yeah.
tell when these things are when somebody is actually, yanking your chain, so to speak, these days.
Because we're seeing more clearly. Yeah, the thing I want to talk about, I don't want to forget, because you always say, you know, these ideas, and we put them out there, and then other people pick it up, or it's always been a thing for me, and I don't care. I'm just happy if somebody picks it up. So I've
Yeah.
always, and I know this comes from my soul's mission and who I am as a light being, and I come from a collective of light beings in Andromeda. But that idea of holding space for others, or that light, holding the light for others so that they can find the light within them and they can heal. There's such a need for sacred spaces out in the 3D world. And there was this movement a few years back. It was called a red tent in every neighborhood, because there was this movement of wanting to create red tents for maidens, for young girls and women, and women with babies to come together. And there was this whole movement. I'm sure it still exists, but I don't think it did very well, unfortunately. But they were creating this world global movement to create red tents. It was called Red Tents in Every Neighborhood. And so for me, I want to create a sacred space in every city, because something that I used in my healing, and when I started healing in this lifetime, and I always tell certain people that need it, ashrams exist, right? In every, not maybe not every city, but ashrams exist. And if you did not have a childhood where you had a mother and a father, or you had that male and female energy that was healthy or balanced or grounded, which most of us didn't have, then a way that you can heal your first chakra, because that's where a lot of the trauma is by spending time in a sacred space like an ashram. The reason, but I don't want to create ashrams, I want to create a neutral sacred spaces, a space where there's no words, no one speaks, but you go into that sacred space and you just be, you just receive, you meditate. Obviously, each one of those sacred spaces would have a person, a god, a seer, overseer, who obviously clears the space and holds the energy, and but no one needs to know who that is. And then people could just imagine a city, and the city, and then you just find a space that you walk in and you reset your energy and you clear your space and you receive this unconditional love and light. And you don't have to talk to anyone, you don't have to engage with anyone, and when I was healing years ago, I did that just intuitively. I went and sat in ashrams, and if you want to connect with the Buddhism or whatever is there, great, go ahead. I didn't need that. I was obviously interested in it to know what it was, but it's what I say, resets your first chakra, because it's a neutral space, and it's a space that has been grounded and has been that energy's been expanded for years or for whatever, and obviously it has a guru or someone that's holding that space and holding that energy. So for people who don't have that, it's such a healing place to go. So if you're living in a city, and we haven't created our sacred spaces yet, the neutral ones, if you have an ashram in your city, go and spend some time there. All you have to do is go in there and just sit and meditate. If you don't know how to meditate, just sit and receive the energy. It's sort of like going into your mom's arms, like a maternal holding. And so that's when I moved here to France. I was like, I'm going to create that. And then I got a good wake up call of like, you don't have money to buy a space. The energy here is so dense, So I'm doing that, of course, long distance with people, virtually. But it's such a good thing for us to sort of bring into reality, to be like, let's create a sacred space, which obviously used to exist once, and of course you can add sound healing and light healing. Depends how much money you have.
You know what I just had pop up in my head when you said that? Do you guys ever watch those parachutes that we used to have like in gym class, where everybody would throw it up and then we'd all sit on it and we'd be sitting in a big bubble together and we'd all be in like, no, you guys ever see those? It's an American thing we used to do.
I can imagine that.
But yeah, it was like this here. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. But it felt like a safe space for me. I don't know what it was about that parachute in gym class. Where is it? Yeah, it was one of these. Come on. One of these ones.
Ah, yes, cool.
And we used to have that thrown up. That was my safe place in school. Whenever we did that, I loved it so much. Something about it created like a bubble of safety, protection, and love. And I don't know why, but I just saw that in my mind's eye when you were describing it. And that is exactly the feeling that I had when we did the parachute.
Yeah, because my daughter loves those. She creates them in her room all the time. They call it in French, it's called cabin. Like, but she just creates them and she feels safe in there. She reads a book in there, and but just that starting to rewire the system of that beingness, that receiving spirit. Pretty much that's what spirit is. When you meditate, what you're doing is you're bringing the body and the spirit together into communication, and you're resting. Back to healing, the way that we heal is through rest. But nobody rests. Nobody knows what rest is anymore. So resting is coming into where spirit sits in the body, which is the center of your head. Some schools say it's the heart, which is also a place to sit. But clairvoyantly, you would sit here, in the third eye, and that's where you rest. That's where you can get true rest. So you can be anxious, going through a ton in your life, which is normal. There's always things going on. And then you can come here and rest for 5 minutes a day, for 10 minutes a day, for 30 minutes a day,
Aw.
however much you need. And so, yeah, so my dream is creating these sacred spaces in every city. Imagine that, walking in the street and
Should
going,
we
and
do a
then,
little exercise this morning? Do you wanna lead a little thing now? We have some time. Do you wanna do
sure,
a
I
little
mean,
sacred space thing now?
sorry?
Do you
What
wanna
did you
create a little sacred space right now in the last we got 15, 20 minutes we can spend,
sure? We
yeah, whatever.
could do some
Do you wanna do a
breathing.
little meditation? Get people to
Yeah,
kinda let's do it.
sure. Give you a taste of it. Why not?
Cool. Why
Good. So
not?
just give me
Alright.
a second. Give me a
So
second
everybody
to.
get comfy, put your both feet on the ground.
Uh-huh. The reason we put our feet on the ground is because
Ground.
it grounds you and it anchors the body. You know, when you meditate, your feet should be on the ground. If you meditate with your cross-legged, you're going to be out of your body and you're going to override all the pain that you're wanting to work through. Um, so feet on the ground, and for you guys, in a minute, I'm going to say eyes closed. If you're getting a reading, you want to keep your eyes open because you want to stay in the body. Give me one sec. Okay. So now I'm going to have my eyes open and you can close your eyes, because when we close our eyes, it is an invitation to go within. So take a nice deep breath and give your body permission to relax, to let go. And the first thing you want to do is say hello to the body. You know, hello, body. I see you. And hello is a communication. You're saying hello to your body. You're communicating with the body. Such a foreign thing for most of us. So just notice the body. You can relax the jaw, relax the forehead, relax the shoulders. And just notice your breath. Allow your breath to become steady and calm. And just notice that you don't enter your skin. As a spirit, your energy goes out about 8 inches, 2 feet from the body. That is your personal space, your universe. So just say hello to your aura, that energy bubble that you live in. And if that's not easy for you to do, what you can do is pick a color and paint the edge of your aura that color. This is your bubble, your universe to create in. And then I want you to just bring your attention to your first chakra at the base of your spine. That is an energy center. It has to do with your body's survival information. Just bring your attention to the first chakra. You can see it, or you can feel it, or you can just know it's there. And then I want you to create a line of energy out in front of you that you're going to attach to your first chakra at the base of your spine. And you're going to maybe tie a weight to the other end and drop it down all the way to the center of the planet. So just remember, imagination is reality to spirit. So just imagine or pretend or postulate that you're taking this line of energy, and it can be anything: a rope, a slinky, a tree trunk, whatever you resonate with. And just connect that line of energy to the first chakra at the base of your spine and drop it in. You can tie a boulder to the other end of it, all the way to the center of the planet. And when you get there, just hook in securely. And then take a nice deep breath and give your body permission to relax and let go. Down that grounding cord. Take another deep breath. Breathe into your head, your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your abdomen, every part of your physical body. Give every part permission to relax, to let go. As you ground, you're clearing your aura as well. Just notice that aura. You can see it with your mind's eye, in front of you, behind you, above your head, under your feet, all the way around you. You're a being that lives in a bubble. And just give your aura permission to release energy down that grounding cord. And then I'd like you to create a picture of a beautiful gold sun above your head. This gold sun is your life force energy. This is your gold sun. As creative beings, we can create energy. So we can give ourselves energy at any time. Create this picture of a gold sun above your head, like a bright sunny day. And just give yourself this gold sun. Bring it down into your crown chakra. You can pour it in like liquid gold, down all the way to the edge of your aura, the edges of your aura, all the way down to a cellular level. You're receiving this gold light that is your life force energy. You can access this energy at any time, all the way down to your feet. If that was great, you can give yourself another gold sun or two. You can sprinkle that gold sun with something you might need for the rest of the day, maybe patience or amusement. Take your time, and when you're ready, you can slowly and gently stretch, come out of that trance, touch your toes, touch your nose. You can get up and stretch, move the body, take your time. How's everyone feeling?
I'm surprised I didn't start snoring on that one. I was so relaxed. Wow.
Yay. That's good.
I was definitely going deeper and deeper. I'm glad you called me back when you did.
Yes. And that's how easy it is to come back with it. Does anyone have any questions? Because I can't see anyone out there, but I did want to say that I do follow, of course, obviously I follow you all the time. And most of your podcasts, your solos for sure, and the rest as well. And I listen when I do my nightly walks. That's the only time I have to listen to them. But I wanted to tell everyone else that's here, my tribe, my soul family, that I love you all. And I'm always here, even though you don't see me as much, I'm always watching from behind the scenes. So
we love you, Tzipora. Really, I'm so excited to work with you. I really am. It's one thing to be able to have communications and be able to plan things and do all these, but to be able to actually work with you, to be able to help people together is something that I'm genuinely so excited to do.
Yes, it will be so exciting. And because I've done so many house clearings in the past with earthbounds, and now I have the verbiage for it because
this is starting to be my new passion too, because maybe it's the firefighter in me, but it's one-on-one, like one person at a time is too slow for me. Like I like it, don't get me wrong, but my greater passion is going to be in property clearings and space clearings, because you can clear 60 earthbounds in one building. I mean, that's a lot.
That's what I love about you, and it's different to what I have been doing, because for me, and we can do it all. For me, it's really about connecting very deeply with one soul. And, they say there's a saying, save a soul, you save the world. There's a saying like that. I think it's in Judaism. And so, because when you work deeply with someone, they find their light, and then they can influence their whole family, generation. So there's a lot of that. But because we're so accelerated right now and we need to do these mass clearings, I'm excited to do that with you, and especially my guide, Alta, who you'll meet. she is very excited about that because she likes to kick butt majorly. She's like,
I love that. Whenever you get a feisty guide, I'm like, yeah. Bring me
so
all the
feisty.
feisty guides. I love them.
She's super funny. So you'll see me crack up and laugh right away when she comes in. And she's a Pegasus, you know.
Oh, yes,
And
yes. I remember.
all my soul guides seem to be animals for some. Like I have,
You can
she's
choose whatever form you want in the astral, and a lot of people don't understand that, which is why they're like, "You have a unicorn guide?" It's like, yeah, she wants to be a unicorn. What's your problem? like a lot of us want to be unicorns too. I would be a unicorn if I could. So what's the problem? You know, that's how she wants to depict herself.
My gatekeeper is a double-headed black dragon.
Nice. Wow, a double-headed one.
Yeah, every time I talk about that
Gemini dragon.
That's so scary.
You know, get this right. I did a clearing on somebody over the weekend, and guess you'll man. Their gatekeeper was a shark. I was like, what? Like, really? Like, is there just a shark chilling in the astral next to her? Yeah, there is. What?
Yeah. Yes, you need that fierceness. You need that fierceness.
Yeah, she was a very connected with the ocean, this young lady I cleared. She's got a very deep connection with the ocean. In fact, what was attached to her was one of those octopi types. If you remember those octopi, those level 3s that are octopi types, that was attached to her. And I was like, wait a minute. She's got a shark gatekeeper and she's got an octopus attached. They're like, she has a very deep connection with the ocean. She's carrying a very high vibration that is connected to the ocean. But when you are so connected to the ocean, you get a lot of other beings that are attracted to your energy. And yeah, that's why she picked up the octopus.
Yeah, and the more light, the fiercer your gatekeeper has to be.
Yes.
Because I have fierce. I don't have to worry about it because I know my guides are taking care of business.
Yeah.
So do you see any questions? Or are there any questions?
Oh, there's tons of questions. You're gonna have you're gonna have to go through the comments later. Sorry.
I'm fine. I have time. You might have to go, but I still have time. I didn't tell you how.
Well, I gotta do clearings in about 20 minutes, but that's fine. Someone just said, can you have more than one gatekeeper? That's a great question.
That's probably a question for Jono. But
I think you can actually have more than one. A gatekeeper is a protector soul guide, so I imagine you can have more than one protector.
There's no limitation in that. There's no limitation. It's like having multiple soul. What are they called again? Love, soul. What are they called? Twin flames or soul?
Twin flames. Yes.
You know,
a lot of people think, oh, can you have one twin flame? No, every other version of you that has ever lived is your twin flame.
So I mean,
so you have lots of them. Every other incarnation, every other soul guide that's discarnate, that's looking after you because it's another version of you, that is one of your twin flames. Yep.
And there's no limitation in spirit. There's abundance. You can have as many gatekeepers as you want. If you have one that's really fierce, you might not need more, but you know, and there might be other reasons for you to have more than one.
A double-headed dragon, I don't think you'll need more than one gatekeeper. Like, no. Or a big ass shark. Like, wow. Thought that was so cool. So yeah, you just never know. Especially one person that I know has a Wendigo as a gatekeeper.
Oh wow.
I know. How cool is that? And what's cool about this Wendigo is that it transforms into a man when she doesn't need the protection. Like he kind of charms himself and becomes a normal looking man whenever he doesn't need to be in fierce mode.
Wow. So, that's interesting. Yeah. I have two soul guides who I've not worked with personally, but I know they're there. I've seen them. One is Pan looking, you know, Pan, but he has sort of a human body. And the other one is a Lizzie, but a sweet Lizzie.
There's a lot of sweet Lizzies out there.
Yeah, a kind-hearted, a sweet one.
There's a lot of really nice ones out there. You just got to make sure you're talking to the nice one, because unfortunately the mean ones try to pretend to be nice ones too. So you got to be very discerning with those. With anybody you're connecting with, really, because as we just said, they can make themselves look like anything. If they want to look like a unicorn when they're really a reptilian, they can do that if they want to.
Yeah, I think when you're in your astral body, it's you can't be what do you say? They can't trick you because I
Yeah.
find when I've seen like really when I was in my astral bodies or out of body, I saw things as they are. I think if you're trying to connect with things from your physicalness, you can be deceived.
Yeah.
But yeah, are there any other
Krista had
questions?
a great question. It's not a silly question at all. Krista says, she says, when it comes to our guides, when I close my eyes and I focus, I see a white dragon, but it's almost cartoonish looking. Could this also be a gatekeeper?
Yeah, I mean, you could ask it if it's a
Yeah,
gatekeeper. I think whatever you see, and that's, you know, imagination is reality to spirit. So I think that's the
it
first thing
is.
when people sit and meditate, they're like, when they call in guides and then they see a cartoon, and I'm like, this is, and they're like, that can't be real. Did I make that up? And I'm like, no, that's how your guide is showing up
You
to you
can
because
manifest all of these things. I told Aiden has a caracal that he manifested in the astral that protects him while he sleeps.
yeah, and that's
The
a
South
symbol.
African links. It's the, murder mittens. He just manifested one.
Yeah.
Okay, and you visualize it in your head and you ask it for protection. And there you go. Now you have a new guide that's looking after you in the astral, one that is your own energy too.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's
So
really about the symbolism to you. That's the importance of doing you and being you and getting in your body and figuring out your vibration, your frequency, because
yeah,
no one else can do it for you. There's no one else that can do it for you. So you have to do it yourself. And then you'll
that's
know, do I go to this doctor? Do I take this medication for cancer? I've been seeing so much of that these
mm,
last few weeks. Is just people are waking up, so they're struggling with how much of the medical do I need, and how much of the my own, and how does it work together?
the
And I
number
tell them,
one recommendation from the guides as well is to sidetrack the pharmaceutical stuff and to try herbal remedies instead. That's the number one
for
medical
sure,
advice they get. But they nervous when they say it too. They're like, make sure you put this in there very delicately that we're not trying to give health advice, but this is a good suggestion.
imagine for me, I have to actually say those kinds of things to people. I don't, but I sort of, and the thing is, if you're still attracted to that, even in a negative way, do it because you're going to learn the lesson that you need to learn. And there's nothing wrong with that. I tell them you're receiving information that you might use, you might not use. You get to decide, do I want to use this or not? Don't be afraid to go there because sometimes if you're not going, you might be losing out on something that could actually help you. So as long as you're still curious or even just drawn to it, even in a negative way, do it because you're going to receive the information that you need to
It's
receive. And
worth a try. Trial and errors. Well, all our bodies respond to things differently. So you never know unless you try.
it's not about, it's about if you're consciously aware and you're making, you can trust yourself, then you can take from everything. You get to make a decision. Do I want this? Do I not want that? Even if you're doing chemotherapy and you're doing the treatment, you can decide when to stop. You can decide if you want to continue. But that's what you want to give to people is that permission to
Mhm.
be in control of their bodies. It's like you're in charge, you're in control. That's what people are relearning because that was really lost because they
There's
literally.
part of the problem with this though is even just legislature these days. Laws are being erected to try and stop us from having power over our own bodies. It's like,
But you have to rise above that because
yeah,
fuck that.
absolutely.
If it's not a part of your what you're creating, it's not going to touch you. It's like yeah, I don't want to talk about it here actually. It's it's like
I was just saying, Facebook, it's one of those double-edged swords kind of situations where, we have to handle these things very delicately because
it's
they're
like
like,
those
oh,
things
we got
that you
one
have
that can see.
to
Like,
do to your kids, which I won't say. You can say, "I'm not fucking doing that," even if it seems impossible. If you internally, vibrationally are like, "I'm not doing that," you will find another way. It'll show up. It'll come to you. So it's always from here out. You decide. You create.
yeah,
Mhm.
beautifully said.
Is
Love
there
it.
any other questions?
There's probably a bunch of questions that I've missed because I've been enjoying the conversation so much here. I've
Oh,
just been
I'm gonna
chatting
have
like
a
crazy
green smoothie. So if my mouth becomes black, just
here. Digging the healthy stuff today. That's good.
Oh yeah. Well, every day.
If you guys have any questions for Tzipora, feel free to jot them down really quick. We can spend a few more minutes here just chatting. I like what Jennifer said. I'm going to read your comment, Jennifer. I was taught it means give it all your current mindful attention. Try to breathe in for 5 seconds, hold it for 5 seconds, and then breathe it out for 5 seconds. Repeat until your mind is more focused. It works for me, and I was recently taught this pattern. I used to do the 7-4-8 method. Interesting, Jennifer. Thank you for sharing that. Breath work is very important, especially.
That's you coming back to the body, communicating with the body, and then you start to feel better because you start to be more embodied, and then you can relax and let go. So you have to try everything out, physically, spiritually, because you're going to need different things to other people. So acupuncture might work for some and it might not work for others. There's no limitation.
Some things work for a while and then don't work. Acupuncture worked amazing for my stepfather. In fact, he even quit smoking cigarettes for 3 years because of acupuncture. But eventually it didn't have the same effect on him when he went for it. And I think that was his mindset. I think that was what was, causing it to not be. Because at first he was like, yeah, this is going to work, And then after a year or so, it would wear off, and he's like, man, I'm really craving cigarettes. I guess it didn't work. It's like, no, it doesn't work forever. You have to stick to your guns with these things. You have to keep up with it.
You have to take it that next step. You have to take it further. And maybe it had a message for him, and then it was done. So, and I think women teach that, is that our bodies are constantly changing. So we need different things at different times.
I'm sharing your link to your website. Your website looks really beautiful, by the way.
Ooh, it's definitely still evolving.
It's pretty. I love it. I love the river that you have here. That's so nice.
Very slowly, because I can't do anything on it. So my friend, when she helps me, she's super busy. So I'm like, I need help. But yeah, I'm going to put my galactic history in there because I think that'll be helpful as well. And I actually had more, but I took things down because it's too complicated. I'm so old school that, if anyone wants to do my class, send me an email. I will set up a time to Zoom chat with you to see if you're a good fit, for the group, and then we'll go from there. But that's how I do it. Just emails.
So exciting. I can't wait for you to be the graduate. Then we can start creating all kinds of different groups and healing sessions and get people involved. Right now we're doing the Lost Soul Rescue. We have our next Lost Soul Rescue is tomorrow. I would love to get you to help me with that. That'd be wonderful.
Because what days is it on and times? Because for me, it's all scheduling.
I move it around based on the thing is we need an SRT medium on each call to make sure that we're not going to be, dealing with any beasties. So that is the main prerequisite, is that it's basically set to the time of the mediums itself. So we're going to be doing a bunch of them. In fact, I hope to have more than one group. I would like to have a space clearing group as well, where we're going through and I've been doing some experiments with one of the mediums. We've been doing a lot of clearings on properties, and we've noticed that there's certain areas, especially like in the farming community, places like Iowa, out in the Midwest, where they grow a lot of our food. There's some seriously weird shit going on. With nanobots and all kinds of like nanite type technology and weird stuff. So we're actually going through and astral parasites. There's a lot of stuff that's going on that's very strange. So we're going to be doing more of that kind of clearing too.
I do house clearings every day for people, but also land clearings. And I used to do them in person. And it's just fun to see what you find. Because sometimes the house can be fine, but there's shit going on under the house. I had a house that had Native American energy, and there's houses that have rivers under them, and that entities, because they travel through. So it's like you clear it, and next week new entities, and that creates portals.
This is why property clearings are so important too. For those of you who are getting a clearing, it pays to actually spend the extra $50 to get a full property clearing, because because when we check we check your household. We might check around the perimeter of the house, but we don't check under the house. We don't check like around the property. That is all if you do an extra property clearing, like I said. So, but that's when we find the weird shit.
And you have the time and and the intention.
I found a young man yesterday that died in a carriage accident 250 years ago, chilling in somebody's front yard yesterday during property clearing. I'm like, what are you still doing here? No, it's time for you to cross over. 250 years.
I did a house clearing once in California, and it was I had no idea because it was a totally modern city, but apparently it was a mining town because I found a mining family of earthbounds, like the whole, they all stayed there. They never crossed over. And this very sensitive woman was living there, and she called me, and I was like, huh? Why are there miners here? And she was like, oh no, this used to be a mining town. And I was like, okay. So yeah, they stay for years.
They do indeed, at least until you get it clearing, and that's why clearings is so important. I'm just reading Andrew's comment. Andrew says, feels like parasites in my stomach controlling my brain. It gets agitated when people are being negative or talking above third base with any woman, sort of like venom from, what's interesting? It's funny you say venom, Andrew, because I found somebody a couple days ago that was affected by black goo. You guys ever heard of the black goo substance? It's quite literally almost like venom. If you guys have seen the movie Venom, that is a real substance that we do find in the world, and we found it's still affecting people to this day. So there's some heavy stuff on this planet that we don't realize that people are dealing with. So Andrew, definitely you should message me. We should, book a clearing for you.
If you know or feel like you have parasites, I would do an energy clearing and a physical. Do both.
Yeah.
You have to.
And don't doubt yourself. When you say things, when you feel like a certain thing, there might be a reason for that. And so, like you'd be surprised how much there's truth in movies.
Yeah, and once you're cleared, that means there's I lost you there for a minute. Hello.
You're still there. I hear you just fine.
Oh, you're frozen on my screen, but that's okay. I was going to say to Andrew, is it Andrew? Once you're cleared, it's a third chakra issue, so it's about working on boundaries for you because your space is being invaded, and especially parasites and things like that. It's very much related to owning your space.
Out of all the things that, it's funny, now that I've noticed my sovereignty so much, it's not even the sovereignty that bothers me. Like when something happens, like a psychic attack happens, we can clear it in a few minutes. It's the damn parasites that drive me crazy. I'm getting more sensitive to them. And when you can feel something moving across your arm and you're like, you don't know what it is. But we gaslight ourselves for years thinking, I can't see it. There's nothing there. Bullshit, there's nothing there. I can feel it.
Can you hear me? Because you're totally frozen.
You're just fine. Is it still frozen?
Oh, I wonder what's going on. Let's clear the field.
You gotta clear it. Now my Siri is turning on with my phone for no reason. Weird. Okay. I guess something is causing an interference here.
Yeah.
Interesting. Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you go. Nope.
What?
Back and froze again.
That's very odd. I wonder. Okay. Well.
Somebody wants us to
retrograde. Gotta love it. It just ended yesterday. Still got the tail end of it.
Oh, there we go. No,
can you still hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you keep cutting in and out. But that's okay.
Well, I suppose we could end our fun now that the technology is being difficult. So.
No,
I'm going to share your website one more time for people. For those of you who would like to book a healing session, you should definitely check out Tzipora's website and some of her sessions. She is absolutely an incredible healer.
Aww,
and I'm sorry that your technology is being difficult now.
I can hear. Now you're back. I grounded the computer. And
clearing the lines with our cosmic fire. Thank you, Erin.
That's what you want to do. What happens is ground the computer, reconnect it.
I do tend to ground, and I smudge my electronics and all kinds of stuff. But what's funny? I accidentally the other day, my guides were like, "No, Laura, your bowl of sea salt isn't doing it." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" They're like, "No, it's not helping your router." So I bought this, and they made a comment last night. Actually, they're like, "Laura, your router is clear," and I was like, "Really?" They're like, "Wow, your rose quartz is doing the trick."
I didn't know that. I should put this one. I I should
Put
put
it
this
by
one
your
next.
router, you guys. I'm telling you, they said put the largest chunk of rose quartz you can find next to your router to help deal with weird issues. And my weird issues have stopped. They have not had any more AI coming through. I haven't had any more weird, yeah. Because whenever I start clearings, I always say to my guides, can you please check that I am sovereign? And can you please make sure that my perimeter is secure of all blah, 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 blah. So that's when they go and they have to check, and they always find shit in my router, in my internet. Always. They were, I mean, every time I was getting a clearing, they were like, yep, it's back. There's more. I'm like, damn. But now that I did this, no more. It hasn't been coming back.
And and telling people to wear stuff, because I find that EMF radiation energy on people when I do it, not always, but I'll do a reading for something, and I'll be like, "Do you hold your laptop on your lap when you're working?" And they're like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Oh my god, you're so." So you can see this blue light like right here by the second chakra, or you see it around the head. If you're wearing headphones with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, try not to do that. If you have to, wear shungite earrings, wear a necklace, because literally when I do readings, it blocks your telepaths, it blocks your ears. If it doesn't get cleared, it's going to block your whole head, and you're going to have pain, and you have headaches.
Those dark patches that I was showing you guys in the images, that's what forms around the places that are exposed to electronics. So, for example, when I clear children, can you guys guess where the dark patches are? Right here. Because they got their damn tablet, and their hands too. Their hands and their faces. They got like an eye mask, like a Zorro mask on their faces. The children do. Yeah, from being on their damn tablets.
Yep. Yeah. My hands are so sensitive. If I hold the phone, I start feeling the and I'm like, nah, and I put it down. So it's, don't even get me started with the EMS. Because
Anna says, does shungite do the same as rose quartz? I feel they're different. Shungite does block EMF. So shungite is very good for technology. In fact, we should be having it all on all of our phones, our Wi-Fi's, routers. I have this sitting on my Xbox right now because I'm a gamer. And then I go, I mean, these things do help, but the bigger the shungite chunks, the better, which is why I tend to just buy raw, like these raw shungite chunks.
What I'm sensing is that the shungite grounds the energy out. And what the rose quartz does is it raises the vibration. So I think that's the difference, because I'm just sensing that that's like the balance of like it's raising the vibration, grounding out the negatively charged energy.
That makes sense. So use both. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I didn't know about the rose quartz, but thanks. I'll be doing that for sure.
All these tips from the guides, and I love how they check it too. They're like, oh, let's see if this will work. And then we learn it does. And we're like, yeah, okay, write that in the book. Like, because AI is such a big prevalent issue. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, I'm finding AI in every single one of your houses, guys. I'm not even kidding. It's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. It's in your phones, it's in your TVs, it's in your routers, it's in your fucking TV remotes. I mean, why would AI be in here? But it has been.
But think about it. We're energy, everything's energy. We're connected like a web of energy. And technology has become so intertwined in our lives that of course it's everywhere, because it is everywhere. It's everywhere. So that is why it's so important to clear and ground and shower before you go to bed and do
it's funny. One of these times that I took mushrooms and I was having quite a conversation with my guides that evening, and they gave me so much shit for how much I don't charge my crystals. This is why I have these here now, because I was not charging them. I would just leave it. And I said things, they're like, you charge your phone a lot more than you charge your crystals, Laura. And I was like, but my phone's going to go dead if I don't. Like, I have to charge my phone. They're like, well, your crystals are going dead too, because their energy is so depleted. What's the point of wearing them? If their energy is completely depleted and you're not charging them and you're not cleansing them, they said it's actually worse to be carrying around a crystal that hasn't been cleansed and charged than it is to wear nothing. And is what they told me. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that. Because you're clearing dirty energy in that crystal. You're wearing it around with you.
That's the most important thing to teach your family and people around you. That's why I give that for Christmas gifts to all the mothers and everyone. I give them organites, selenite dishes, and
I
I tell them,
charge like this. I generally take selenite's great for charging. Like you can take a wand here and you can kind of sweep over your crystals at night if you want to, or I just keep them in the little bowl.
yeah, I love
I
that.
mean, and then it's also helps if you have some black tourmaline or something around it also to pull the negative energy from it. So it's cleansing while it's charging too.
Great. And
So
spread the
yeah.
word, spread the word, tell people, because nobody knows this. And, and people are wearing really old, blocked jewelry. Most
Yeah.
people. So it's so important to spread the word.
In fact, there's even stuff like that. I had a clearing the other day and I always ask, I said, are there any curses or cursed objects? So when they checked for cursed objects, they actually said one of the other day, they said, oh, there's a ring that she bought a couple weeks ago from a jewelry store. It needs to be cleansed. And I was like, oh, I said, is it cursed? They said, yeah, well, not exactly cursed, but it was touched by some people that had very negative energy while it was still in the store. And their energy is still attached to it because she didn't smudge it when she bought it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So she's been wearing around other people's bad juju on her own ring that she just bought herself without even being aware that it's there.
That's why anything you buy and everything you wash or you sage or you clear, especially your kids. If they take something, if they bring something into their bedroom, or I teach my daughter, your bedroom is a sacred space. If you're bringing something in, you sage it first, you clear it first. And kids, they don't want to shower, but you have to force them to shower before bedtime. Because clearing the aura, clearing the field, you'll sleep so much better.
They do, absolutely. And it also helps too, like if you have any disturbances that may come in the middle of the night too, I've noticed. I don't fuck around anymore. I have a diffuser that sits next to my bed that's got frankincense and rose and a whole bunch of stuff in there. So if I wake up between the hours of 2 and 4 a.m., I'm just looking around and I'm like, nope, boop, hit the button and then go back to sleep. Like, like, then it just pumps all that into the air for a few minutes. And then my room is, the vibration in my room is drastically risen. And it's a safer, more sacred space for you.
That's a good idea. I have a spray bottle, but it doesn't work as well. I think what you're doing is better.
It does work though. Where's my spray? And there's a whole bunch of really cool sprays that you can get. If you guys Google aura sprays,
I'm sure you're taking that. I mean, you take that when you travel, right? I'm sure you do.
Oh, fuck yeah. Because you can't smudge your hotel room. So I get things like this. This is like I got this one in London. This is a auric field spray for energy and psychic protection. This one has spring water charged with blah, blah, blah. Sage, Palo Santo, hyssop, mugwort, frankincense, yarrow, copal, cedarwood, and rosemary.
Yeah. And you can make your own.
This is Be Gone spray, I call it. So like, then you just spray it in your aura. You don't have to spray it on yourself. You just spray it into your etheric field. And it's strong too. I mean, people are like, wow, you smell like a hippie. Yeah, but I'm protected. Nobody's going to come in there now.
Yeah, and you can make them. You
totally can. It just takes, you can take sage in some water, add some frankincense, some copal, rosemary oil, whatever, dilute it with water, spray it in your field. Salt water is also really good if you take sea salt and dilute it into the water. Yeah, very easy to make your own sprays.
Feels so good too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and you can get real clever and add whatever your favorite scents are. I had some that I use with honeysuckle and vanilla and a few other scents that are really nice. So you don't have to be smelling like patchouli whenever you're trying to protect yourself,
Yeah, I'm saying we're human. You want to use everything to heal. You want to use everything that's at your fingertips. Smell.
Catherine says, good question. What if I can't use essential oils because of my pets? Sea salt spray. You just take water and sea salt and put it in a spray bottle. Sea salt. This is what we do around animals all the time, especially on farms.
Yeah, it depends what kind of essential oils, because I have a tick and flea spray for my dog that's made out of essential oils that I spray on him.
Can I use tea tree? I thought they're allowed to use tea tree. Tea tree is one of the best for astral parasites. I use tea tree for all kinds of stuff now because it deters parasites so much.
Physical parasites.
Everything. No.
Physical and spiritual parasites works for both. It's all energy.
Peter wants to know the name of this spray. This one I got, it's called Sothis Sacred Oil Protection. If you guys want to Google it, Sothis is the name of the brand. Phenomenal spray. I'm telling you, I keep this with me everywhere. In fact, I'm probably going to have to order another bottle of this because I've been spraying it so much. It does help, though. It helps a lot when you're trying to cleanse the space and you can't smudge. Like if you're going into a hotel room or something, that's why I bring it with me everywhere I go.
Yeah, and it's so good to have that physical layer because I used to just, clear it energetically, but it wasn't enough. So having the physical spray, the body feels safer.
Yeah. I love that. Jennifer says, I spray my daughter as she plays her games. That's a good idea. The kids are getting mad while playing the Call of Duty or something. Just spray them.
When they come back from school, you just spray them when they come back from school or a party.
It's funny. I actually might do that before he goes to school. That's a great idea, actually, is to just give him a little spritz of some rose oil or something, His friends are gonna be like, "Well, he can't smell it anyway." Aiden's smell still hasn't come back yet, so he won't be able to tell anyway.
Yeah.
3 years now. 3 years. Yeah, because of COVID. 3 years. Yep. Has not been able to smell anything.
It'd be interesting to look at that and see.
I know. It's weird too. Sometimes he has like smells that pop up and he's like occasionally he can smell something that I can't smell.
I would say,
like, oh, what is that horrible smell? And I'm like, what are you talking about, kid? So he'll smell nothing and then he'll smell something awful. And I'm like, well, that sucks.
Well, the reason it's happening is probably because he's developing something else.
He is developing something. That's what the guides have told me. Yeah, he's developing his, because when you lose one sense, all the others get stronger. So they did say this is a temporary thing for him.
Yeah, my mother-in-law is going blind, and so she is developing other senses. And I'm trying to support her in a positive way and say, like, good for you. Your intuition is better, even though it's not easy to be losing your eyesight.
Yes. Well, we have been chatting for an hour and a half. I could sit here and chat with you all day. But I do have to go chase beasties in a couple minutes. So
I'll be chasing
you. It's so good to hang out with you. I can't wait till we can chase beasties together. It's going to be so much fun.
Yes. Yay. And see you in person. That'll be really fun.
I know, you guys. I get to see Tzipora in like 15 days. I'm so stoked about it. I can't wait. We're coming with an entourage. We're gonna be all rocking up and to see you. I can't wait.
Running down the streets of the old kings and going to visit Leonardo at his house.
Yeah. I love it. I can't wait. We get to introduce you to some of the other colleagues that you'll be working with. See, a lot of SRT people coming with me. So it's gonna be great fun. So
exciting. And I always say everyone's welcome because I'm not going anywhere in the next few years, so you're welcome to come here and visit. And yes, we'll do a retreat one day.
I was say we definitely need to plan a retreat someday. People would love that.
Yeah. Well, go get to work.
Thank you, guys. I love you all. Oh, by the way, today, I'm sorry to promote right now. I completely forgot about this. We have a Chen chat today on Astara. Andy and Chen will be on Astara at 1:00 today. They will be doing a past life regression with Daniela Hess. I didn't realize I was double booked in my schedule here. So I have other things that I must do at that time. So Daniela is going to assist me. She's so wonderful. I appreciate her. So if you guys would like to do a past life regression today with Chen and Daniela and Andy, it's going to be really exciting. That will be at 1:00 today. Very excited for that. I can't wait to watch the recording. And Daniela also sent me something else. Thank you, Daniela. At 6 p.m. today, we have the free messages from Spirit in our everyday life with Tara Franklin. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we also have the Om Daily Coherence with Jacqueline Burke. And then tomorrow at noon, we have the Activate Your Life, the Earth Element activation and closing circle with Marla Lumina. So if you guys are interested in hearing some light language, make sure you guys don't miss that as well. And I've also got this weekend, I'll be doing a special event podcast on Saturday too with Blair Styra. That's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Lots of exciting things.
Ooh, beautiful. So many beautiful gifts.
Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you all tomorrow with a solo podcast.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, see you soon.
Love you all. Bye, guys.